Well, hello, angels. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Suri is not behaving herself, so here we are. Good morning to all the angels that are with us this morning. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Ross, Mindy. I'm so glad you're here. Lorenz, Karen, Charlie, we welcome you back. Juanita, Mateo. Look, there he is, our special, very special guest waiting for us. And Debbie, it's wonderful to have you here. I don't know why Suri isn't behaving and doesn't want to play my music, so that's okay. We'll manage. She's not behaving herself. You're looking good, Catherine. We welcome you back after a long summer's nap. Welcome you back. Good morning, dear Swami. It's wonderful to have you with us. Om Shanti,
Good morning.
Namaste.
Good morning.
I'm going to try one more time to play some music, and if it doesn't want to do it, I guess we'll be without it. That's all. Let's try. Well, it doesn't want to cooperate. You know, we here in Florida are suffering from a coming hurricane. So I suppose that's the reason it doesn't want to cooperate this morning. So that's okay. We will be fine. It just does not want to cooperate. So here we all are, and we welcome you all. Mateo from Mexico, Lorenz from Germany, and Catherine is here now. Let's see, Juanita is in Ohio. We have all our people from far away with us this morning, dear Swami. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our special guest today. The Swami has been with us several times. As a matter of fact, the last time he was at the library was when I couldn't see him there. That was the day I broke my wrist, if you remember. And they took me to the hospital and I had to get a cast. But it's all fixed and it's all better. And we're fine. We're just fine. So we welcome, it says Divine Grace Yoga Ashram. So you'll have to tell us where you are. But our dear Swami, many years ago in the 50s, there was a peace pilgrim, she was called. And she walked across the country trying to give peace and show peace and love to the entire people that she met. And so our Swami, and I'm going to try to pronounce your name, dear Swami. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it right. You'll see. I've been practicing, so I'm going to do it right, okay? I'm going to make your name correct because I spelled it wrong, and I apologize for that. So let's see where we are. Our Swami, will find out where he is right now. And it's pronounced, I think, forgive me if I say it wrong, Sankarananda. Is that pretty close. Pretty close.
It's
Okay,
very, very
well, we
close, dear.
welcome you. Thank you, Your Grace. Thank you very much. So, because I can't seem to have music this morning, it's not cooperating with me. Maybe I'll ask Jamila to sing, since she did the most beautiful singing at the retreat where she was. It was just beautiful, and we were able to sing it. Or maybe Mindy will have sing, but okay, that's what we'll do. So let's get started today with a nice meditation. And I will try again to get this to work, but Carol, you'll be glad you're not here in Florida. We're anticipating a hurricane, and it's coming this way. And so what can you do? You gotta just bundle up, hunker down, put towels or stuff by your windows, and get ready and drink bottled water. That's all we can do, and wait for it to come here. So let me try one more time to do this. Hey, Siri.
That's a no sound. That's a beautiful picture, but no sound. Now is the time for you to be your own commentator. Remember, you are capable and worthy. Inhale deeply at the ocean of peace, ocean of love, and ocean of power. I am capable and worthy. Surround every cell in your body with that vibration. I love me. I love me. I am peaceful, capable, and worthy. Inhaling deeply, the sea is healing every cell in my body. Every little cell is feeling well. Now continue to give your own narration to these beautiful pictures for another minute or two. That's it. Your own imagination.
it's my stubbornness, my determination, or my direct connection to the Supreme Soul. But at least we got some music to let's get started. So hallelujah. Now I can tell you the story about our divine, wonderful guest, the dear Swami. Swami has been around the country. He began walking also like the Peace Pilgrim did. And he was walking until, and he would have no money. He gave up. He was a businessman. He had nothing other than his grace and his divine understanding of the Supreme and his grateful and beautiful soul that he has. So he began walking until he started across the country until an accident happened. And then he got this big, gigantic bus. And the bus was how he travels now, from city to city to city. Well, some of our people, dear Swami, you couldn't go to because Lorenz is in Germany, Mateo's in Mexico, and Juanita is in Ohio, and Karen's in Germany. So I have to see who else is on here. Okay, we have a nice crowd for you, even though we are here hunkering down for we're not going to get all of the hit of the hurricane, but you never know. So dear, dear Swami, we welcome you and want you to share with us first, where are you in the world today?
Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and good evening to everyone in Europe with us today. It's very good to be with you. And by the way, dear, I remember that the day that you broke your wrist, you also came to the library with the cast.
Yes, that's true.
It speaks to your character and dedication, dear sisters. So,
thank you.
So I still was able to see you and have your company, and I'm grateful for that. I'm in West Virginia today for a minute. Where
for a minute,
for 2 days. 2 days. Today's the second day, and then I'm going back to Arizona tomorrow for a couple of weeks, flying this time.
Flying this time.
Yes.
Where do you leave your bus when you're flying to certain places?
You know, the boss, whose name is Prema, the Yoga for Peace RV. Yes. I think it was the Yoga for Peace painting that made her look a little bigger than she is. She has now gone on in service with one of our family, and I'm I was towing a little trailer with the ashram minivan, and the trailer I'm sitting in right now, her name is also Prema.
Prema, yes.
Yes, we asked for a name, and a better name couldn't. So we're here. The trailer is here, and these days I'm traveling around in the ashram's minivan, and so doing Grace Yoga Ashram is on the move still. The pilgrim karma or dharma seems to be unshakable, at least in this bird. So, you know, we're in this. Are we still connected? Oh yes, okay, you're moving. Very good. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, but you seem to be you all can't hear him. Okay, you seem to be frozen in space there. you seem to be frozen. Let me see if I can do something about that.
Am I moving yet?
See. I think so. Are we there? Yes, I think you are now. Everybody, can you hear Swami now? Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, and
Our
I'm,
Wi-Fi is not cooperating today because of the terrible rain we have here.
and we may be a little limited in connection also.
Yes, yes. So I want you to share with us, because I told everybody that when you were coming on, you would share your thoughts about peace. And because we're in a world that's in chaos right now, we don't see a lot of peace in the world, but we ourselves are filled with that divine peace and grace that's in our heart and in our soul. But I want you to share with us how we can cope with what's happening in the world right now.
Thank you. So yesterday, I talked with someone for just a moment who made this observation: there does not seem to be much peace now. And it's true, there does not seem to be much peace. When we look out, we won't see much. And yet, when we look in, it's frankly all that we will see. And this is our big challenge of this time, is that we've gotten so wrapped up in the external events that it's hyper, so much so that we lose our divine inner quality. And what's most important, and it's most important for anyone that can hear, is to engage outside. We have to first engage inside. Peace is undisturbed. Peace does not go anywhere. Peace remains. Peace, silence, love, all of the divine virtues, all of the divine qualities, they're unmoving, unchanging. They're in each and every person. And yet when we forget to connect with them, when we go out, when we engage, when we listen, and when we speak, then we've forgotten how to act peacefully, and how to act lovingly, and how to listen, and how to accept, and how to abide. And this is most important. One of my teachers, Swami Sankarananda, he would say that the world is like a banana, he would say. That to enjoy it, one must first peel it. And yeah, and in this way, we have to peel it from ourselves. We have to ourselves turn within. We have to have practices and ways of living in which we center first. And Peace Pilgrim was is such a great inspiration to me that I made the choice to live this life prayerfully, following the example and the inspiration that she had offered. And Peace would say, the way of peace is to overcome wrong with right, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. And so, of course, what we find is in this time, it's very, very difficult. And yet, if we can take the opportunity to center ourselves within the divine, within the peace that is within us, before we engage, then we don't lose ourselves, and we act peacefully, and we bring the peace that we wish to see into the situations that are at hand. Every gift has also the other side, and
Yes.
and the internet is a great gift, and yet it has the other side. And the other side is it allows this lower nature within us, which we all deal with, this lower nature within us, to take out its will with what seem to be faceless beings. And yet every one of us are connected, first with the internet, and secondly with the internet. The internet is of the nature of peace. And when we honor this, then we bring peace. But when we even go onto the internet or go to the market or get in the car, or even when we're caught up in thinking about what a terrible world this is, in fact, the vibrations, the energies that we find ourselves caught up in and that we share, well, not peaceful.
Yes.
Not peaceful. So we find two important truths, that each of us who wish to be peaceful, we must recognize and imbibe in. The first one is that peace is real, it exists, it is within me, and it is within all. This is the first. Peace is real, it exists, it is within me, and it is within all. So I can have it, I can imbibe in it, I can choose it any moment. That's the first. And the second is that in order to live a beneficial life, in order to share that which is of benefit, I need to consider carefully what I'm bringing, what I am offering, because I'm either offering this peace, this light, which is in the center, or I'm offering the angst and fear and anger and all of this that I get caught up in otherwise. And this is the most important choice that we need to recognize, that is our own choice. Our peace is not affected by anyone else. And yet, to be able to say that, we need to actively, intentionally center within it.
Mhm.
And how to be? Well, we say prayerful or peaceful, which means to continue to center ourselves. One of the great teachers, Swami Sankarananda, he first he would equate peace and God as being the same. And we live in an age where many people don't love the word God because we all have different ideas about what that means. And yet the peace and the highest are one and the same. So he would say, start the day with God, end the day with God, and fill the day with God. And so we could say, start the day with peace, end the day with peace, and then it's possible to fill the day with peace. The best suggestion I would make for everyone who wants to listen is this: it's to start the day with peace intentionally, and intentionally end the day with peace. And then it's possible to fill it. We won't say easy. We won't say easy. Nothing good here is easy. But this intention, to set this intention, and then when we have that cup of coffee in the morning, or we're getting up and we're starting to think about the world, stop ourselves for a moment and think about peace instead. And visualize ourselves being peaceful in the day, not shaken by the things that happen. Visualize ourselves offering a kindness to another. Visualize ourselves practicing deep listening with someone who's really caught up in a terrible state. Deep listening to honor the present. Just in the morning, just visualize ourselves in this way. And whatever we visualize in the morning, it will be so. And in the evening, all of our days are mixed. Here we have some good, some bad, as it were. We remember sometimes, we forget sometimes. And the evening, however we connect with the divine in the evening, to once again center and to do a day review. How did I do today? And not to judge oneself, but simply to be aware. I remembered sometimes, and I'm so grateful for this. And sometimes I forgot and I lost myself. And it's okay. I forgive myself. I will do better. And then, dear Lord, dear God, however we relate, dear Divine Mother, please accept all of this today, all of this effort as an offering from me. Please accept it all. Please take it all, and please give me the opportunity once again tomorrow to serve, to be of service, to be an instrument. And what we find is, if we can do both of these, at the end, during the day, we don't forget so often. And at night, we release it, and the sleep of the baby comes. And the refreshment that's needed in order to start this next opportunity.
Dear Swami, dear brother, how do you start the day with peace? I'd like to hear what you actually do in the morning to start the day with peace.
Years ago, after a very interesting life, we discovered the power of thought. We should have known, but we discovered it. And we discovered that thought is the single factor that determines our happiness or our suffering. And we also determined, and this is the teachings, it's in the teachings, but it was a discovery for me. And we also discovered that we are made of these thoughts, as it were, that we carry these thoughts, and that we're the personality is created by these thoughts. And we also discovered the possibility to change the thoughts and have them be whatever we choose for them to be. Again, not easy, but through our choices, it's possible to change our thoughts. And by changing our thoughts, we change our nature. And wishing to be an embodiment of love, I had an internal question about what thought do I wish to start the day with? And took some time with it and received some inner guidance. And the thought is this: Dear Lord, may all of my thoughts, words, and deeds this day be inspired for the benefit of all. May my service this day help all to know the peace and divine love, which is in the center of each and all. And may all know peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And so I trained myself for this to be the first thought. And so invariably now we start the day with this thought first.
That's a beautiful thought. We could all do that and say those words to our divine supreme soul or higher power or whatever a person calls God. We could do that and train ourselves, because our thoughts create our actions, of course.
Our thoughts create our reality and create our actions, indeed. And we don't understand that we think we live in some outside world, and yet really the world we're living in is our own thoughts, and
Yes.
our own thoughts that we're living in affect the world around us. I remember a beautiful card that I was given the first time I met you, dear Etta and Raz. You were handing out these cards and on a little stand, and it said, the outside world is nothing other than the collection of all of the inner worlds. And this is very much so, that the world outside is the collective of the inner world, and the inner world is the thoughts, and what we each live in is the inner world. And then we carry this inner world into the outer world. So this inspiration can be whatever each of us choose it to be, but you have the power to change your thoughts. You have the power to cultivate, to tune into divine thoughts, beneficial thoughts, and you have the power to choose, amazingly, what is the first thought? How do you wish to start the day? If we ask conversationally, many people would say, I want a cup of coffee or something like this, but this mind is like a computer, it can be trained.
My first thought every day as I put my feet on the floor is I say, thank you, God, for another day. because then I can customize, if that's the right word, customize the thoughts that I'm going to use to be more peaceful in this chaotic world.
Yes.
And that's my first thoughts. And
Yes.
I think that I tell this class, who are they're very wonderful angels here with us today. And I tell the class, that's the first thing you have to do. And the last thing at night is say, thank you, God, for the day. We've been blessed.
Yes.
However the day went.
Yes.
And I think you agree with that. Yes, brother?
Yes, dear sister. Everything outside changes. Everything changes. And we go through cycles. You know, Peace Pilgrim started her pilgrimage January 1st of 1953. And that was also an apparently very dark time in the world. That was the Korean War, the height of it, and McCarthy era in the US. And so people think this is the first time, and the Cold War was very much underway. And I remember as a young child, the duck and cover drills and all of this in school. And so if we wait for the world to change, then we wait forever.
That's
the world is constantly changing, and we're not in control of the outer world if we cannot control our inner world. To affect a change, the first thing to do is to change our thoughts. And the last thing to do is to change our thoughts.
That's so right. It's so true. What happens when you run into someone, let's say, who doesn't believe in a higher power, or doesn't, how do you handle that? What do you say? Well, how do you do, what do you do about that? You can't convince them, but what do you do?
No need to convince anyone of anything. There's just a need to embody our own highest beliefs. That's all. That's all. The light itself will shine. I'll share a quick story. One of our family, his name is Gopala. He had come to ashram almost 4 years ago, something like that. And he tells his story, and he doesn't mind me sharing it. Dear Gopala had fallen into a terrible state. So he was he was caught up in drugs. He was shooting heroin, and daily, or if not, then in terrible pain from the addiction. And he came to the place where he was living in a box, and he cardboard boxes, and he'd been kicked out of the house. He'd stolen from his parents. He'd stolen from everyone that he knew. And he was angry with everyone. And if you looked at his thoughts during that time, it would have been just terrible. And he had no belief in any higher power at that point. What is that? He just wanted a fix. For him, the fix was the higher power. And so, but what happened is that over a bit of time, he was sent to prison, and he had to stop, and he was able, once he stopped and got past that initial part of it, he had a realization that happiness is not in the world, and even the greatest pleasure does not provide happiness. And you know what sustained him through that? And that, by the way, propelled him to spiritual path. That propelled him to seeking God, or what is the real higher power? What is the real sustaining power that saw him through it and that helped him to get out the other side? What is that? Whatever name is irrelevant, but and you know what he remembered that really sustained him, what he would say about why he just didn't kill himself at the time. People sometimes were very kind to him, and they cared for him, and they listened to him, and they were present for him. And so if you had the conversation with him directly, he would tell you that's what got him through it. And now he's transformed. He would not say his thoughts are perfect, but he has really, his life has been transformed, and he's very devoted, and he holds down a very good job, and he travels around, and anybody that would meet him today is overjoyed to meet him. But there would have been a time where not, and people would have judged him, he's this, he's that, he doesn't believe in a higher power. We all believe in the higher power. We all want to be happy, and happiness is God, just whatever name you choose.
That's so true. I find that when someone approaches me, and I've been approached many times about, and I have a good friend who happens to be, she calls herself an atheist, but I don't think she is. I think she is just pushing that aside because she doesn't want to be happy. She doesn't want to be pure and beautiful like a person that has grace and kindness. And I see she's so very kind. She's a very kind person. And yet she said, oh, it's all hogwash. I don't believe. And I say, look, if you don't want to believe, it's okay. Yeah. That's up to you. But that's your thoughts. Your heart is true. Your heart is beautiful, and you're kind. And I think people are more kind right now because of the world, the way it's going on. Don't you think so, brother? Don't you think people are a little more kind today because of so much agony and anxiety in the world?
When we are face to face with someone suffering, then the kindness comes forward in us. When the suffering is far away from us, we tend to hide, and to wrap ourselves up in the mind. Peace Pilgrim would observe this, and I saw the same in the pilgrimage, that she walked carrying nothing and asking for nothing, and she would say, I walk until offered shelter, and I fast until offered food. And then she would make the point of saying, and it's always offered. Aren't people amazing? And the heart in us is always ready to step out. It gets wrapped up in the thoughts, as it were. And so this is what we say, the need is to connect with the heart, or connect with the peace, or connect with God, whatever. And these days we're very flexible in terms of the names that we use.
Yes.
The higher power is the higher power. It didn't die. It didn't go anywhere. It is beating in the heart of every single human being, and every single animal, and every single tree, and every single blade of grass. It didn't go anywhere. Within each of us, it is as if there are two of us, and the self-centered nature seems very loud, especially in this time, and it's focused on pleasure, pain, and some imaginary or elusive idea about happiness that I can have by life being in a certain way. And at the same point, the God-centered or the self-centered in the good of the whole is very much real, and it is what is urging us towards freedom and urging us towards happiness, and it always wins. It always wins. Love always wins.
That's
but
right.
If we wait for it to win outside of us without helping it to win inside of us, then we wait for a long, long, long time.
That's so true.
We can say that it always wins, but it doesn't, and it happens. But it within us is calling each of us to rise up into it now. This is really what this life is about. People think that life somehow is about finding our happiness in the world, but the world doesn't exist to give us happiness. The world exists to challenge us, to help us to learn. It's the great correctional institute. That's, oh,
That's
if we
so
look for it
true.
outside.
Exactly. What do you think? What's more important, our head or our heart? I always wonder because I'm a very sentimental, emotional person, and my heart sometimes guides me. It usually guides me in the right way. But what's your thought about that?
What's most important is unity, bringing the head into the heart. You can't divorce yourself of the mind. And
No,
the mind itself is what you will use in order to come into union with God or union with the heart. So
that's
the
so true.
Bhagavad Gita says that one is to lift themselves up by the self, not let themselves fall. And that the mind is either the friend of the self or the enemy of the self. It's the friend of the self who has trained it. The mind is like a dog, for goodness sakes, and most of us experience a dog that's peeing everywhere. And but also it can be trained, and it can be trained in order to take an uplifted approach to life, and we say in this way brought into union with the heart or with God to be an instrument. So the mind that is trained, not beaten down, not treated as an enemy, simply trained lovingly to engage in this life in beneficial ways. The mind that is trained is our friend. And at that point we say, no issue with the mind. But the mind that owns us, that is our master, oh my God, what a terrible master.
Where is love in this whole composite? Where is love come in? I mean, we are loving, heart-filled, loveful beings. Where does love come in?
Well, love is always here, and yet in our personal experience, we only experience it when we get the mind out of the way, or when we get the mind integrated to be an instrument of love. And then we are love, and then we are loving, and it doesn't make any difference how someone else treats us. We're not craving other people to treat us in a certain way anymore. The great opportunity for us is to be loved, not to be loved.
Right.
We
To
can look at
be
St. Francis.
love.
We can look at St. Francis' prayer for this. And this is the great
Yes.
prayer of redemption, and the great opportunity, the great salvation for us is to be more concerned about what we offer than about what we get.
Yes. Well,
And
one
then,
of our beloved teachers who passed several years ago, Daddy Janke, she
yes.
said so often, the world is filled with sorrow. Don't buy any. Don't buy any. So don't
Indeed.
take it into yourself, and just let your heart and your soul mesh together and be love and be peace and be content with
And it's
your life, however it is. Correct? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, and that is a choice. People think that free will means that, I don't mean to generalize it in this way, but this isn't, all of us have this ego sense that we work with. And the ego sense, as it were, it is the head of the little self. And it's looking for some independent island where it can have what it imagines to be happiness. And this is a factor within us. We're all dealing with it. But at the same time, in the heart is beating the real, the eternal, the absolute. And so we all have a choice as a result. Within us, we have an aspect calling for us to abide by the jungle law of hook and claw, as dear Peace Pilgrim used to say, that I need and I'm going to take. But at the same time, within us is this still silent voice that's calling us, no, forget, forgive, accept, love. See the heart of the person there in front of us. find the capacity to see them in a different way. And this is within us. It's not some outer, it's not in a book. My God, the book's in the heart. So
No,
and
it happens to
so
be, it's a beautiful place to be with the heart and the mind secured
Oh.
together in love.
that's it. And we're given very much opportunity in this time. So much opportunity to practice this.
That's right.
There's a little video I'm going to share with you, Etta and Raz, and you can circulate it if you would like, but it's a young Indian boy, and the video is 2 minutes. It's on YouTube, and he gives us the greatest teaching. He says, what do you practice? What do you practice? Do you practice love in your life, or do you practice anger, fear? And what do you practice? He said, if you practice anger, he said, whatever you practice, you'll become very, very good at it. If you practice anger, the least little thing will make you angry. And he said, you'll get into an airplane and you'll look across the way at the seat that the other person is given, and you'll get very, very angry because they clearly have a much better seat than you do, and that's not fair. And you should have gotten the better seat. And this is the thing, is what do we practice? And that's the only thing, really. What do I choose to practice? Because all of the opportunities are within us. Do I choose to practice fear? Okay, fine. There's much fear right now. Do I choose to practice it? But love is here also, right here, right now. It's in the center of us. So do I choose to practice kindness? Do I choose to practice forgiveness? Do I choose to practice acceptance? These are the choices. You see, we think free will is about getting what I want, but that's the lower nature stuff. Free will is about choosing to do our best to give what I want.
Ah, yes.
And
Be a
we can
servant of
we can
good.
choose either. Yes, we can choose either in the moments. And it might not seem so, but my God, that's the one choice. And free will is for this. We can choose how to look at, how to see. These choices to abide in peace, we can say moment to moment, but also they're the big choices. And this is what free will is for, is the ability to choose to bring or to choose to be, in a way, undisturbed by the things that happen. Really, the thing that happens doesn't make us. It's the choice that we make and how we practice this
Yes.
life that indeed makes us. And this hasn't changed. It makes no difference how much disturbance there is outside. This hasn't changed, and it doesn't change. And so this free will to be happy exists all of the time. It's unchanged, it's undisturbed.
That's what we call in the Brahma Kumaris the 5 points of the soul. Is happiness and peace and love and wisdom and purity. Those are the choices that go in our soul, and they're there. So all we have to do is accept them and give them. Give
Yes.
love, give peace,
That's
give
it.
joy, as you've been doing for how many years now? Are you practicing?
Oh.
Running around this country?
Well, I can actually remember the day it began, so not that many years ago. And as a result of the choices, there was a transformation that happened that, frankly, I can't take credit for, because it's choosing what's real and what's eternal and what is within us, and choosing finally to live life according to it, instead of the transitory, the constantly changing, the whims and all of this. This was it. So the years since the great discovery of this reality, unchanging reality, this unchanging peace within,
No, and we also learn to stay in the now and look at each other as souls. That's another one of our teachings, because if we do that and we see that most people have that goodness in them, most people have that light that doesn't stop shining. It's there for us to see. And your light is blasting out over the conversation today, because you are certainly such a beautiful soul that it's hard not to follow your directions and say and be and love and be peace and be full of divine grace as you are. And I am so grateful that you took the time. Raz, you're there also, took the time. You say hello to Swami.
Yes, thank you. And he will be on a Zoom call out of Delray the Saturday before elections in the late afternoon. We'll get that information to you, or you could go to the Delray Center in person, free of charge. And we're working on maybe getting some other dates set up. We're still in the process of working on those other dates, which you'll be informed about. So great to see you. And I'm just back from retreat. Do we have a minute to have Jamelia give her experience of being at Peace Village with me and other about, I don't know, 150 BKs from Florida celebrating 40 years of meditation, Brahma Kumaris in Florida. Jamelia, come in, Jamelia, you disappeared from my screen.
No, here she is.
I'm
Okay,
here.
it's her
I've
birthday.
been here.
It was her birthday. She got
Yes,
to sing.
happy birthday.
Thank you. That had to be one of probably the best birthdays I've ever had. To spend the time with the family and the DDs, and to be able to share in the gift of song, and to be able to share my heart. It was just probably the most memorable lifetime experience, I can say at this point. I know there will be more, but the knowledge, the lessons, the growth, I have so much energy right now, and I am just on another level since I left there. And I'm still floating in the vibrations of what happened yesterday. I still can hardly believe I was so close to the DDs and the love that was given. And yes, it was just an amazing opportunity to share and to be given so much love from the Brahmin family, the Florida family, and to just feel a part of something so great and so regal and royal. And that's
beautiful. And she also sang twice that Raz sent me pictures of, and it was exquisite. It was just exquisite. I know. And Peace Village is up in Haines Falls in upstate New York, and it's a beautiful place to be. If you can't go as far as India, if you go there, you're very close to the feeling of being in India. It's a beautiful place to be. And we thank you, Jamila. And I can't say enough to thank our divine brother, Swami, because he has always been such an inspiration to every one of us that has met him and seen him at the library. He was there a couple times. And so Raz and I are trying to work on finding a place in Hollywood where we can have him and have you all come in person. So, but this Tuesday is a beautiful gift. You are a gift to us, dear Swami. And do you have any final words for all of us here?
Dear Raz and Etta, and frankly, everyone else that I see on this call, you're also great gifts. And so Thank you. So thank you to everyone who's joined the call, with particular gratitude to Roz and to Etta. I was walking in Florida, and that was 2015, and I had before going to India, I had attended the Brahma Kumari Center in San Francisco, some of the programs going on there, and so somehow I knew to reach out to Brahma Kumaris there in 2015, and that's what connected us. So Brahma Kumari started it as you were, and we just continued it. I'm so grateful, Etta and Raz and the rest of the BK sisters and brothers for the great work that you do, and for everyone else involved in the call. As I said, I don't want to make this sound simple or sound easy, as it were, but in a way it is simple. If we can remind ourselves that peace is here, and that it's possible to be at peace, it starts here. And this is the one point that I'd like to come back to. It starts here. When we long for peace, we want to be able to remember it's inside, and we want to remember how we connect with it. This is most important, especially in this time, because we find that it's a time where these little kindnesses and little beneficial sharings are so beautifully received. And you may think that someone can't hear you or can't see you when you're being kind with them, but it's not true. We all get wrapped up, but the awareness is still very much here, and being peaceful, loving in this time pays great rewards, not just personal rewards back to you, but in this entire world situation. That's the big message. Peace, love, real. And the choice always exists, and it's the most important thing for us to do. Far more important than the thing that we do is the attitude and approach that we take with the things that we do. So thank you so much to everyone for the opportunity to be with you today.
Thank you so much. I want to see if my daughter is here, Swami. Yes, she is. Debbie, I want her to meet you at least over the call today. Debbie, where are you? I know you're here somewhere. Okay, please show your face. That's one of my daughters, Swami, and she's in Chicago, and I have two daughters, and she always shares something with us. So say something to this group, and I want you to meet our Swami. He's just wonderful. I'm sure you enjoyed listening.
I did. I felt like I was absorbing the light, then I really needed to absorb some of that sunshine. And I think everything that you were talking about is just like what I try and do on a daily basis. You know, the choices that we have, sometimes it's difficult to choose love and choose acceptance and choose contentment. It's so easy to go down the path of anger, and it might be that's the easiest choice. So it might take a little bit more effort to choose gratitude and to choose love. But I think that if you stop for a minute and decide that's what you will do, I think you'll just find your inner peace and you'll be so grateful. So thank you for reinforcing those ideas. And Om Shanti, everyone.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. You see, we have a Swami, a yogi in workings down there, up there in Chicago. So we thank you again, and your grace, I'm hoping we'll have you here someplace in Florida. But remember, as Raz said, there'll be a call from Delray, and it will be on Zoom also, so we'll be able to see you again. Namaste to you and your family, and we are all one family. I always tell everybody, I love you. I love you. I love you. One family. Thank you all. And Om Shanti to everyone. Namaste.